Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you may or you may not have seen this on only one first person tutor. Whether you have or haven't, it's fine. I will post it in here just just for reference. I was playing around with the idea of showing why prime numbers is helpful for finding the LCM, right? Now, originally, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been 7x plus 5y equal 20.15. This was 5x plus 7y equal 18.85. Then I turned 20.15 into 2015 over 100. This the same, 1885 over 100. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to show that decimals are fractions with a denominator that's a power of 10, right? So that's what every decimal that's what every decimal is, right? Every decimal is a fraction where the denominator is a power of 10. So when we multiplied 2015 over 100, the hundreds cancel here. That's why we have the 2015 and the 1885, and that's why the 7x times 100 became 700x, and of course, So I'm just explaining what I did. I'll actually post highlights on the live so you can see how I got what I have here on the board. Now watch this. Imagine we had this for our 700 and we had this for our 500. Imagine if we thought, let's multiply 700 by 500. You'll end up with that right there. How would you know when to stop after repeatedly dividing until you get this number here as your LCM? How would you know? That's why the method that I show you here is what we need to bear in mind, right? If I'm not mistaken, I said that all of this here, and they have all of that here. Right. So think of it like you have a subset. This is a subset of this. Or, as I like to say, a room is part of a house. That's what I like to say. My analogy involves the room, the house, the mansion. So this is the mansion. This is, well, if you combine this and that, that's the house, and that's a room. So this is a room that exists in this house already. So if you have a choice between a house and a room, you're going to buy the house over the room, because a house have a room. If you buy a room, you just have a room. Imagine only buying a bedroom. So between a bedroom and a house, you're going to buy the house. So that's why you have this, right? And so when we put that along with the 7 there, what do we end up with? 7 times 5 is 35. This part here is 100. 100 times 35, you end up with that. Alright? Now, pardon my manners. So for anybody who recently joined this group, you have my vote of thanks. I appreciate you for joining. After a while, I'm going to actually do some personal shout outs to all the connections that recently joined either 876 Math or Math for the Globe, right? So you see, sets and subsets, right? Jamaica is, a subset of the wider set, that's the globe, right? So that's why you have MATH for the globe, and you have 876 Math, which is making abundant tangible habits, right? So hopefully, right, I'm hoping that this trend starts picking up a little bit, because I realize that we need representation, right? So not just for the global teachers, but for the Jamaican teachers. So we have one for the Jamaican teachers of mathematics and one for the global teachers of mathematics, right? I compartmentalize. What else do I have to tell you about what I did here? There was something else I did, but I can't remember. What did I do? I was doing a replacing of the middle term. I've done quite a few of those videos though. Mind you, the one that I did was kind of tricky because you had 48x squared. The middle was what, minus 26x, and the last term was minus 35, and we could not find the HCF we couldn't find the HCF of the three of them. Speaking of which, HCF, GCD, they mean the same thing. When I was going to school, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. Why didn't anybody tell me that? Anyway, yeah. You see how funny this whole thing is? Imagine assuming what this LCM would have been and being wrong about it. So that's why I go through that. So you know what? Let's do something else. Now, since we all know pi, let's make this arc, right? You know, because this actually means this, which obviously I call it that, and of course this means, you know, this is perspective, right? That is yeah, perspective is everything, right? So question is, why did I mention that? Why? Because imagine this. Now, so what we're going to do is minus 1 from that and take 60 and add it to this. So now this is going to become, so we're going to have an 8 here, and that's going to be a that's easier to see. No, I know that 5 plus 8 will give me 13, so why not? Let me carry on 1. Let me carry on 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 7 minus 4. Yeah? I would like to think so. I'd like to think so. No! Let's be very careful with this. Let's be very careful. Right, so now, carry a 1 over here. 1 plus the 3, 4, 8 minus 4. There we go. There we go. So, if we add 438 to 335, it will give us 913. Alright? So, yeah, perspective is everything. Alright? Really is. So, yeah, 438. Alright, let's take 322. Right? 0 carry 1, 0 carry on 1. If you subtract this from that, you'll get the 13. Wait. Let me make sure I did everything right. Hold on. That's why them said double check your work. No, only God knows why I tried to carry a 1 over there. I already did the subtraction, so I wouldn't need to do that. Sorry. Hold on. So yes, let me apologize for that. Why did I need to do that? I don't know. Anyhow, I caught myself. So yeah, this is helpful whenever you run into these weird scenarios where you have a smaller number here and you don't know what to do with all of that. Go try it with something else. Let's try another number and see if it works. Alright, let's change this to let's take 1 from that, and then we add 60 to this, so it's going to be, so we could call this 966. And from that we subtract 439. Alright, so alright, 9 plus 7. Let's carry on 1. 6 minus 4. And 9 minus 4. So let's put this here. Let's put this here and see what happens. Does this actually work? Now if I add 21 to this, it would give me 5, right? If you take 21 from this, it leaves you with 6. So 5 plus that 5 would give me 10. And yeah, 10 o'clock plus the 6. There we go. Yeah. Now, let me just tell you what I literally just did. So imagine this as 521 and you're going to add this. If you think of it that way, then yes, it will work. 0 carry the 1, 0 carry the 1. Sorry about that. So that will become 5 plus 5, it will be 10. 10, 0, 0 plus this. Yeah, you'd end up with 1006. Yeah. So therefore, the 527 is in fact correct. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what else? Alright, so it doesn't just work for time, it works for fractions too. Right? What would I do with this? What would I do with this? Ah! See? 8 used to be just 8, but now it's 8 over 1. So we just turned it from whole number to a fraction with a denominator of, 1. Now, let's be silly. Can we be silly? Let's be silly. What is the LCM of 1 and 38? I know. When would this ever be necessary? Right? Well, you have 1 and you have 1 times 38. Let's play the game. Let's play the game. This one is already down here. So you don't need this one up here, right? You don't need it. So therefore, the LCM of 1 and 38 is in fact 38. Therefore, you multiply 1 by 38. And that's how you justify that. So therefore, we can multiply this by 38 and this up here by 38. Why? Because 38 over 38 is the same as 1. And also, fun fact, that's the same thing as raising a number to the power of 0. I'll explain that another time, but you know, it's fine. Okay, where was I? So this is still 15, and this will be 304. Now, how did I do that? Well, it's the same as 10 minus 2, and if you multiply this by 10 minus 2, you'll get 380 minus 76, right? And of course, add a 4 here, and a 1, 8 minus 8, that's a 0, 3 minus 0. Yeah, that's kind of how I ended up with that, so just, the more you know. Anyway, and now we just subtract 15 from that, 4 from here, 4 from here. That's 300 minus 11. Yeah. And then let's add a 9 to this. Carry a 1. 2 plus 8. 3 minus 1. Oh, wow. 289. Alright. So, yeah. And we've gotten to the end of it, right? So, yeah, that is making abundant, tangible habits, yeah. And that is how we make abundant, tangible habits.